Hi, my name's Tristan from Beyond the Tent, and today we're going to be reviewing the Jackery 500. We're going to be telling you what exactly this thing can do, what it's good at, what it's bad at, what exactly we think about this. But before we get into all of that, let's start with an unboxing to show you guys what comes with this.
Alright, so if we open this up, we can see that we have a little thingamajiggy where all our cables are stored. It's a nice sort of cloth pouch, keeps them well contained. We have a solar panel owner's manual. We have the Jackery itself, and then down in the box we also have a little yellow envelope that contains the owner's manual. So again, in that case, we have the AC charger, we have the car charger, and we have the owner's manual in this little orange envelope. Pretty handy, and it also comes with a couple nice stickers.
Alright, so now that we found out what it comes with, let's talk about the features the thing has, and let's start with build quality. Now, this thing is tough. It's made out of a really solid plastic held in with high-grade stainless steel screws, so you're not going to need to worry about this thing rusting. In terms of dropping it, or like durability to falls or something, you're not going to want to drop this thing on concrete. I can see this hard plastic cracking, but in terms of carrying it to your campground, taking it out of your car and just dropping it in the grass, it's going to hold up just fine. This thing is really solid. On the bottom we have a couple nice rubber feet. This thing gets a really solid grip anywhere you set it. Those feet are held in with the same high-grade stainless steel screws, so they're not going to be falling out anytime soon. And if you set it on a table or something, it's not going to be falling off. Now, the one thing this Jackery does not have, and you can tell by just looking at it, and one thing that no solar generator, no solar power bank, or any power bank of this size has, is waterproofing capabilities. All of them need venting, and on the Jackery you can see the venting is on each of the orange sides. There's none on the back. It's just a little bit of textured ridges here, and on the front you obviously have the ports that water can get into. But if you look at the top of the Jackery right here, there's no really holes. There's no places that water's going to drip into. So this thing might be fine in like a light rain or a sprinkle, but if it's starting to really rain, or I'd say in any rain at all, you should probably put this thing inside. It's not waterproof. On the side of the Jackery we have a little flashlight, and this is something I'm really glad they included, because it just provides another level of functionality that you can use this thing for. When you're getting into your tent at night, instead of having to grope through your backpack trying to find your camping lantern, you can just click the button on here, plug all your devices in, climb into your sleeping bag, and you're set for the night. It's not super bright, so you could probably leave this on for weeks and weeks and weeks and it wouldn't really affect the overall power of your power bank. It's not going to be draining the battery anytime soon, but it's definitely bright enough to do basic camping tasks. You might not want to cook with it. Size-wise, so you can probably tell, this is about the size of a basketball. It's really easy to lug around with the handle on the top. It's not that heavy. You can hold it out like that. This thing weighs 13.3 pounds, perfect weight for camping. You're not going to have any problems carrying it with you, stowing it in a backpack, in your car, anything like that. This thing is really lightweight, pretty nifty. Alright, now that we've talked about stuff like build quality, weight, stuff like that, let's dive into the power functions and all of these ports and displays on the front. So we have the main display right here, and that can be easily turned on with a display button. It'll tell you how much it's outputting in watts, how much it's inputting if you're charging it with a solar panel or from the wall, and then the overall capacity of this battery. If we look over here, directly to the left of that screen, we have the input port. Now this is where you charge the Jackery, whether it's with the included car charger, the included AC wall charger, or if you're charging it from a solar panel. And in terms of charge time, it's about 5 hours to charge this thing from fully dead to fully charged, whether you're charging it from the car or an outlet. I really like that these solar generators, these power banks, come with a car charger. When I'm getting ready for a camping trip, charging my power bank isn't the top priority on my mind. It's more getting stuff like the tent, camping chairs, stuff like that ready. So being able to just plug it into the car, a couple hour trip, this thing's going to be over 50% charged, is a really nice feature to have. And then this is also the port for solar charging. This thing takes a couple hours longer to charge with solar charging. You get the Jackery 100 watt solar charger. This thing is going to be charged up in about 7 hours. Alright, so if we go down to the bottom right of the Explorer 500, we have the AC port. Now there's only one AC port on this thing. There's a nifty button right here which you can turn your AC on or off. If you have something plugged in and you don't want to unplug it, you can just click the button. Like if you have a lamp in your tent or something, It's really easy just to turn that off and on without having to unplug it. Now in terms of output power, the Jackery 500 can do 500 watts of output power. You're not going to be able to do a really high-powered thing like pressure washing your driveway with this, but for taking it camping or the average backyard barbecue, this thing is going to be great. In the bottom middle, we have 3 USB ports, and now all of these are the high-powered 2.4 amp ports, which I really like. Some of the other power banks I reviewed, they have one fast charge and then a couple slower charger, like 1 amp ports. But you can be assured with any of these ports that your device is going to receive the fastest charging possible. And like the AC port, we have a nifty little button again that we can just turn all of them off or on. So if you leave your iPad, your phones plugged in overnight, and you don't want this thing to be drawing power during the day, you can just easily click that off. Over on the bottom, we have the DC port. Now, if you have one of those air mattresses that can be charged through like a car port, a cigarette lighter port, it has one of these built in, which is really nice. Jackery designed this Explorer 500 with campers specifically in mind. People who actually take their power banks out, use them to the utmost. There's a lot of functionality here you can use. And then right next to that, we have a couple DC barrel plug ports. One of the things that I appreciate the most about the Explorer 500 is the amount of power that actually gets stored in this thing. It stores 518 watt hours in just 13.4 pounds, which is really, really good. You're going to be able to charge a lot of your devices with this. Like I said, it doesn't have the highest output power in the world. You're not going to be able to power larger devices, but in terms of charging up the things I would use on a camping trip, my drone, phone, camping lanterns, things like that, this thing's going to last you a long time. It would last me for a full week of camping. Now the Explorer 500 comes in with lots of battery protection systems, over voltage, under voltage, over current, stuff like that. So you're not going to have to worry. The Jackery 500, even if you do plug something big into it, it's going to handle the abuse. It'll shut itself down. So you don't need to ever worry about damaging your battery. The only thing you probably could do to damage this thing is get it wet, like I mentioned before. Now one of the concerns I hear a lot about these Jackeries is that they're going to wear out. Lots of people are aware of the fact that lithium batteries do wear out with time. If you have a phone, you'll probably notice a battery life starting to degrade after a couple years or so, and eventually it will need to be replaced. Now with all that smart battery management that the Jackery has that I mentioned earlier, this thing is going to last you a really long time. If you took this thing camping every single day for 2.5 years and you used all of its power, this thing still is going to be at 80% capacity. So instead of getting the full 518, if you took this thing camping every day for 2.5 years, you would get about 400. If you only go camping a couple times a year and you're worrying about your battery degrading if it's just sitting in your basement for the 8 snowy months of the year, you're not going to have to worry about that either. Jackery recommends just leaving it plugged in, and it's not really going to degrade if you're not using it. It's just going to sit there at full charge and be ready for your next camping trip. You could leave this thing plugged in for 10 years and it would still have pretty much all of its capacity. So this thing is going to be a good buy, and it's going to last you a really long time, be a solid investment if you go camping with it every single day for 5 years, or even if you just use it a couple times a year. It's going to last you a really long time, and you're not going to have to worry about this thing dying on you anytime soon. Price-wise, this thing isn't too bad. It's $500 brand new, but you can find it on sale for places. I've seen it as low as $400, or even on Jackery's website right now. There's a Father's Day sale where they'll give you 15% off. Alright, now that we've kind of went over all the features, everything this thing can do, let's talk about who it's for, who it's not for, what it's good for, what it's not good at. This thing is too small to use for home backup. You might be able to keep your fridge running for 5 hours or something like that, but due to the 500 watts of output power, don't expect any larger appliances to be ran off of this. The same thing goes for powering like a hunting cabin or something like that. Again, those larger appliances aren't going to work. You could power a little lamp or something like that for a long time, especially paired with a solar generator. This thing might work if you're not trying to power a lot of things, you're just charging up your phone every day, something like that. Now the sweet spot this Explorer 500 has is its lightweight portability. It's really designed for people going car camping. This is a perfect addition to your RV and for your average everyday camper. If you're going to the local campground with your family for the weekend, this thing is going to make your life a lot easier, and is really just a tool that will fit perfectly into your arsenal to provide a bit more of a stress-free and fun camping trip. I've had the pleasure of using this Explorer 500 for a couple weeks now, I took this on a pretty fun camping trip about a week ago. We went out on the lake all day, we caught some nice fish, fried them up on an electric skillet. Then we went into the tent, set it up with this handy dandy light on here, and was able to power all our devices really easily with these 3 USB ports off the front here. Now for the camping I do, I really like this thing. It's the perfect size and has all the functionality that I need, and a package small enough so that you can bring it pretty much anywhere with you. Now when I camped with this thing, it was a little low on charge, so I grabbed my Jackery solar panel and I charged this thing up probably 40% in just a couple hours before the sun went down. So if you want to see my review of the Jackery 100 watt solar panel, you can click right here. Thanks for watching. If this helped you out, if this informed your decision on buying the Jackery Explorer 500, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel below. Thanks for watching.